Hey listeners, this is Claire Kennedy coming from San Luis Obispo, California. My aim with this podcast is to educate you about cool things going on in San Luis Obispo, California and beyond, and inspire you to be mindful about kindness in your life. And I'm talking with my friend April today, and I have no doubt that she will inspire you. So enjoy. Hi, friends. So today we're talking with April Smith. And before we get started, I wanted to talk about Zoom.com. This is how I'm recording my podcast interviews, and it's how I'm recording this right now. So I started an account with Zoom.com. And basically, when I want to interview a friend, what I'll do is I'll go to Zoom.com. I hit the button that says schedule. I do the day and time I want to do the meeting, and I title it, and then I send the invite to my friend. So with April, I sent over the invite. It automatically adds it to my Google Calendar and my Outlook calendar. Then when the meeting day is here, I hop on Zoom.com, I click join meeting, and we can either record ourselves if we're doing a face-to-face interview, or I could do a long-distance interview with a friend. And then I'm going to give you guys a link to Zoom.com in this episode. I'm going to give it in my newsletter. I'm going to give it in my website, and I'm going to give it in my Instagram link. So if you had any interest in doing meetings and recording them, I'd highly recommend Zoom.com. It's been awesome for me, and it's how I'm getting these awesome interviews to you guys. So click on my Zoom referral, and then if you end up purchasing a subscription, I could hypothetically get a discount on my subscription. So I would be thrilled if you could support me in this podcast. And here we go, our wonderful interview with April. Hello, hey April Smith, how's it going?
It's good. I'm happy to be here and excited and nervous and all of the above.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have you here today. I wanted to introduce you to our listeners who don't know you. You're a realtor in South County at Pismo Beach with Century 21. I think I met you when we went to a showing of Mad Max Fury Road, and we had a mutual friend, Elizabeth, that invited us, and her husband Seth, and you are really good at cosplay and dressing up and stuff.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I know you have a special Joy Daisy and you like to do special things. So April is really well known in San Luis Obispo County for a few reasons. She's a really wonderful realtor, and she has a talent for realty. And she also is a volunteer in the community with Rise. So I want to start out and ask you what brought you to the Central Coast. You came here from Texas.
Yes. So I was really into modeling and acting in Austin, Texas, and that's where I grew up. So I was pretty successful with it from about 12 to 18. And every person that I interacted with kept telling me, if you really want to make it big, you need to move to Los Angeles. So as soon as I could, age 18, I was out of there and, on to LA. And yeah, I loved the modeling and acting aspect of things, but got to LA and realized that about a couple months into it, it wasn't a really great fit for me. It was challenging to make friends. I had never experienced that before, being in Austin, Texas, and Texas is just known for its hospitality. So I was always really good at making new friends, and I can kind of get along with everybody. And so it was a shock to me to get into LA and not really have that connection with a lot of people. And a couple months into it, I met some people that actually happened to live in the building that I lived in, and they lived in they were going to Cal Poly, and I came up to visit them a couple of times after they moved. Loved San Luis Obispo, fell in love with the area, fell in love with the downtown, made me feel more like the hospitable, Central Texas feel. So that's how I got from Austin to LA to SLO.
By yourself. Your family didn't pick up on you. You just, April, 18-year-old, moved to California. I can't imagine that.
Yes, it was all about the drive. I knew exactly what I wanted. I wanted to do modeling and acting. And, another thing I didn't mention was a couple months into LA, I realized that it was all about who you know, and I didn't know anyone. I was really successful with modeling and acting when I lived in Texas because it was a very small market for it at that time, and I was really well connected. So I had to make a decision on if I wanted to continue modeling and acting, then I needed to go back to Austin, Texas. Or I wanted to try a different career path and stay in California.
So I wanted to ask you, where did you learn to be kind?
Mostly through my family. I think that my upbringing had a lot to do with it. My mom was the most kind, caring person that I could have ever imagined. And I feel like we are who we surround ourselves with as well. So, when I referenced my mom, it was actually my grandmother. It was my dad's mom. So I was always around older people, and they were all very caring and genuine and kind. And I think that I picked up on a lot of those traits.
So to bring up this wonderful thing you do at work, what's the project called about warriors?
It's Hometown Warriors.
Hometown Warriors. So you give money to local first responders or military members, not just local ones, people that are working with you. How did that come about? Did everyone in your office do it, so you did it too? Or do you know someone who's serving, or how did this come?
So I have a lot of friends that are in the military. I don't have any family that had a direct connection to it, but more about than just military and first responders. It was, I wanted to find a way to say thank you to the people that do so much for us. Whether it was military that was serving here, or they're going to different countries and they're protecting us. If it's teachers, they're serving our community by educating our kids. Any of those kind of community service providers, I felt like there's not enough people out there saying thank you to them. There's not enough programs to say thank you. And so for me, it was just a really cool way for me to tell, first responders, policemen, law enforcement. I've helped firefighters, EMT, and teachers. A lot of times that, the credit that I give to them, it can be in the thousands of dollars, and that could be the make it or break it deal between them being able to step into home ownership or not. So that is a bigger heartwarming gift than I could imagine being able to say thank you that way.
I bet that gets a really great response from people that you're gifting that to.
It's gotten me a lot of referrals. It starts out with me helping like one person at the firefighter, or one person up at Camp Roberts. Once it's done once, then they tell their friends, and again, it goes back to the people that are surrounding themselves with other like-minded, caring people. The people that I've gotten to help with this program have just been some of the nicest folks, and I absolutely love working with them. And when they call me and say, hey, we've got a new recruit here, then I will bend over backwards to help them, because every one of them have just been so amazing to work with.
Oh, I could see your love coming through right now speaking about it. I was Googling you, researching this podcast, and I was looking at your advertisements, and we're also friends on Facebook and Instagram. Your social media posts are so darling and amazing. You are like, hey guys, I'm just hanging out at the shooting range with my fiance this weekend, blowing stuff up. Hey guys, I'm off-roading on my motorcycle. Hey guys, I'm at the sand dunes. So do people have any response to your ads and social media stuff? They seem to be not your typical like like what you'd imagine a realtor would be advertising.
Right. I've never been one to conform to the crowd.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily that I like to stand out. It's that I like to have the freedom to be me.
Mhm.
And growing up, I liked cars and trucks and motorcycles, but I also liked pink and to be pretty. And I feel like, especially with social media, it gives professionals in any business the capability to connect with other people that like those same kind of things and be able to have a more personal connection to someone. I may get a referral from somebody that they have been introduced to me via text message, but then they find me on social media and they get an opportunity to actually see me, and they see a couple of my pictures or the videos, and they almost feel like they know me before we've ever gotten to meet face to face. And so I think that using social media to just be you, no matter who that is something that we should take advantage of.
So you don't have to work in an impressive place where your boss is pulling us at April. We don't act like this. So free and happy and
yes, and still professional when it comes due. I grew into the career that I have, and I was offered management positions, and then grew into even further bigger management positions because of the job that I had done. That was a job well done.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I just did it to conform. And if you Googled any other real estate agent, yeah, they're probably all very professional photos, and mine are more candid, but I just like to have fun with life. And
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I love it. So I mentioned at the top of this podcast, Rise. So when I was growing up in San Luis Obispo, there was SARP, which was the sexual assault
prevention.
Sexual assault and rape prevention. And then there was the women's shelter, quote, women's shelter. Mm-hmm. And they kind of congealed and made Rise, which we say women's shelter, but it's actually anyone that's struggling with domestic violence. And they are doing a lot of neat things in the community. And the event coming up this fall is called Wine, Women, and Shoes. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yes. So Wine, Women, and Shoes is Rise's biggest fundraiser of the year. And it's a fabulous event where last year we raised over $88,000 for Rise. It's a very high class, VIP treatment kind of event where you're greeted with a red carpet and champagne, and you're treated like a queen all day afternoon. And you've got shopping experiences. We've got live auction and a fashion show, but more than all of that, I had actually reached out to Rise years ago because I took services from the SARP Center when they were around. And I used my car for a lot of my tutorials and my self-learning. So I've listened to lots of podcasts and books. And one of the things that is just a reoccurring theme is you need to give back and to redeposit. And so if you're leading and you're growing, you need to turn around and put your hand out behind you and grab and pull other people up with you. So one of the things that I took away with that was I wanted to get back into the SARP Center, which had now become Rise. Mm-hmm. And when I reached out to Rise, I said, I don't have funds to donate all the time, but I definitely have time. So is there some place in your organization that you can see me being a good fit? And they got this big ear-to-ear grin and said, have you heard of this event called Wine, Women, and Shoes? And I said, no. And they showed me a little about the event, and I said, I'm in, and I have run that event for 3 years now.
Oh. Well, they are so lucky to have you. I know, like you said, you are who you spend time with, and if you are looking to socialize and also have aspect of philanthropy in there too. Go have some champagne, go buy some beautiful shoes, go just have a great time and enjoy yourself. And tickets are on sale at the rise.com website. They're $125, or you can get a bunch of friends together and go in on a table. And I would highly recommend that as something good to do for yourself and for the community. So let's see. I feel like Jimmy Fallon or something with my Conan O'Brien. I gotta get some physical humor in here. What is something that like pops in your head right now? I want to ask my guests, what is an unforgettable act of kindness that someone did to you that you'll never forget? It doesn't have to be a huge thing, but what's coming to your mind when I ask you that question?
So you did post this on your Instagram recently, and I answered, and I love your posts on Instagram first of all, and you know, quite often the stuff that you share, I repost into my stories. So want to say thank you for that.
Thank you. That's good.
But I do want to share a different story because I had another one come to mind. I was in a really unhealthy relationship, and I was in not making a lot of money, broke college kid. You know, it was like Murphy's Law, anything bad that could happen, everything was happening. I had this car that I was going to school in the morning, Monday through Friday, and then I'd go to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and I'd go back to school. And I was putting tons of miles on this car, and I had no money. I was spending more money than I made, and I was running out of tires on this car, literally to the point where I would shuffle the tires around, and I'd get a spare and I'd get paid. And so I'd go get a new tire because I knew that it was on its last leg. And I got stuck one day and had no money. And somebody got me over to a tire shop in Paso Robles. And I will never forget the gentleman that owned the tire shop, because he could see me fighting tears back, and that I was, you know, not sure how I was even going to pay for this new tire, because he opens up the trunk looking for a spare, and I'm like, no, that was the spare. The other one's actually already gone. It's already shredded in the trunk. And he put on a used tire for me and did not charge me a dime.
Oh, bless him.
Yes. And so, you know, fast forward many years later, I've bought probably at least 5 or 6 sets of tires for all of our vehicles from him. I will never go to anybody else. I'll make an extra trip from Oceano to go to Paso Robles to give him business.
Oh, yeah. That's so sweet. Sometimes little bits of goodness happen, and then you don't know who the person is, and you never know that person, and he's still in your life now.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There's moments where I go in and I don't even know if he remembers or recognizes what he did for me, but I'm always grateful and appreciative.
If you feel like it, we can put it in the show notes, the name of that gentleman's business.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
I feel like getting off the there's some sort of trick you can do with your face if you want to cry, but it's okay if you want to cry too. I feel like you're a bit of a kindness detective, and what I mean by that is you don't just try and be a great realtor, you also try and be a great friend to people in your lives. And I can speak to this because you did it for me one time. You had given me a membership to this travel service, and I was struggling with it, and you're like, hang on, I'll be right over. So you brought some coffee, and you drove over to my office and sat with me and clicked through until I could figure out how to get these hotels for our family vacations. And I'm like, that was really amazing. But I know if there's someone that you notice is an empty nester and their life is kind of, they have a challenge, you're like, oh, well, check out this book, and you give them a little tip. Or if someone's like, I'm new to the area and I'm brand new and I don't know anything, you're like, here, let me send you these hiking trails, or take your hand and show you around. And I just think that's really neat, like, that you're actually actively looking for ways to be good to people. And it's not like a humongous thing, it's just like this little thing. But how wonderful that when you came to California, you had a couple people that took your hand and said, "You're not alone. I see you. I'll take care of you." And then you've done it to people.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I really look for ways that I can help others. It doesn't matter if it's, can I sell you a house? That'd be great, but that's not my real goal in our conversations. My real goal is I want to learn more about the person and see where I can fill a hole.
Right.
Whether that is, somebody that's new to the area, or somebody that needs to, downsize in their home, or it's just, I've got clients that still call me and ask me questions like, "Hey, I need a dentist. Who do you like to use?" Or, yeah.
And they're gravitating to you because you're not someone be like, "What the hell are you asking me for?" You're like, "Oh, hey, someone wants to ask me something."
I get so enthusiastic when somebody, like, after I've sold my house, that's this long drawn out process, and it's, kind of gut wrenching, and it's hard and it's scary. And, we go through the whole thing, and that phone call that comes in after the sale has already been done, and they're asking me for help on something completely out of left field. I'm like, that warmed my heart and gave me more goodness in my belly than, cashing a commission check. I feel like if you put enough good out into the world will give you what you need.
Agreed. So I love to ask my guests for something that's an actionable tip for listeners to do today. Is there something that you would say, "Here's how we can help you helping rise," or "Here's something that we can do for a loved one to make them feel good"? What do you have to say today?
I think it's, the actionable tip would be, actually made notes on this one because this was the one question. You're gonna have to edit this one. So the one thing would be, you can look for a need and fill it without any expectations in return. Whether that's somebody that you see on the street that's hungry, or if that is, somebody trying to cross the road with too many bags in their hands, or, like you mentioned, I had an empty nester that was all of a sudden feeling very anxious about having their kids go off to college. And I found a cool book and I sent it to him. And it was somebody that had always been very nice to me, but never truly personable. And all of a sudden I'm hearing him fight back tears saying, "Thank you for this book."
Wow.
On the phone. So I would say look for a need and fill it without any expectations of getting anything in return.
That is really fantastic advice, and it's a win-win for you and for that friend of yours. Is there anything that I missed, April, that you really wanted to bring up and talk about today? I'll say that I've received at least 2 or 3 handwritten thank you notes from you, and I don't even work with you. So that is unique and very much appreciated.
I guess one thing that I kind of really enjoyed growing up in the career path that I ended up choosing after a failed career in modeling and acting, getting into real estate, I've had an amazing mentor. She was, she's still around. I'm not speaking to her as in past tense. She's still in the business, and she just was a really straight from the hip shooter, and as is, she was originally from another country, and so I think that has a little bit to do with being foreign and coming here. They don't have the patience to shoot around the bush. And when I did something wrong, she told me that I did something wrong, and I learned very, very quickly from it. And I feel like I want to share with others what I've done wrong to prevent other people from doing the same mistakes. And it could be something as minimal as you said that incorrectly, or it could be something as massive as you left that out of the contract, and that could be huge in a real estate purchase. But I really love the fact that I got really amazing mentorship in the beginning, because I'm doing that now for the agents in my company, and I get such a thrill out of things when they come to me and they come to a class and we go through training and they actually go out and implement what I just taught them, and they come back and you can see the glow in their face. They're like, it worked. You did it. You got that listing. You went and door knocked on 100 houses and you got 2 appointments out of it. I'm like, yes, like I get a more kick out of that than I do out of most things in my job.
Well, that is a beautiful circle of life moment, and in a few years they'll be saying, let me tell you about this incredible mentor I had this April. All right, I am coming to a close of this episode. Let's tell people if they want to work with you or follow you for fun. Where do they come find you?
The easiest thing would be my website. It's aprilc21home.com. They can go to connect with me on social media. They can also see tons of videos on my YouTube channel through that website. If you're just curious about, buying or selling, I've got lots of tips on there in my videos. And even if you're just looking for a friend, if you don't, need to buy or sell a house, I'm always looking to connect with more cool people.
Yay, thanks for your time, April.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Okay. Fans of kindness, thanks for listening. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Okay, so that was my talk with April Smith, and that was a first. I literally started crying with her when I heard about the man's gift to her in her time of need from the tire store. And I feel like a little bit teary right now, even reliving that moment. So I did get to go to her event that she helped organize for Rise, and it was incredible. It was like the event of the season. I thought it was going to be great, and it was beyond. And I saw so many lovely friends there. I didn't know we're going to be there. And I was like, of course, you lovely people are at this lovely event. So please get on the newsletter list for April and for Rise and support them. If you have any interest in this Wine, Women, and Shoes event, it is the bomb. So thanks, April, for all you do. I love you. Love you, listeners. I'll talk to you later. Bye.